To get r squared, I'm just going to substitute a point into x and y. P and q are constants that are never going to change. So that means that r squared will equal minus 1 minus 3 is minus 4 squared is 16. 3 minus 4 is negative 1 squared is 1. That means that r squared in this case is equal to 17. That means that my equation for this particular example will read 17, which is r squared, is equal to x minus p, or x minus 3 squared, plus y minus q, or y minus 4 squared. And that is the equation of the circle not centered around the origin. The first one I gave you to do had a circle which was centered around the origin and had a point 2 and 3. Now the standard form of the circle, remember I said, is r squared is equal to x minus p squared, but because it's centered around the origin, we just need to say x squared plus y squared. In order to get r squared, substitute that point in, which means that x is equal to 2, y is equal to 3. That means that r squared is equal to 4 plus 9, which is equal to 13. That means that this one here reads x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, which is 13. The next one I gave you to do, number 2, had a circle also centered around the origin, but had a point of intersection, or rather had the coordinates negative 3, negative 1 on it. Again, because it's around the origin, we're going to say x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. To get r, we substitute that point in, which means that negative 3 squared plus negative 1 squared is equal to r squared, which is equal to negative 3 squared is 9, negative 1 squared is 1, which is equal to 10. That means that for this circle here, x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared, which is 10. That means that the radius in this case is root 10. And in this case here, the radius is root 13, but that's not important. Number 3, we had a circle drawn over here with the midpoint, or rather with the center of the circle being 2 and 2. We also had the circle passing through the origin. Now, because the center is not the origin, we're going to have to use the equation x minus p squared plus y minus q squared is equal to r squared, which is going to read x minus p, our p value is 2, x value of 2, x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to r squared. And that's the equation, except we need to find r. Don't multiply this out. First substitute the other point that you have in. The only point you have is the point 0 and 0. So that's going to be 0 minus 2 squared plus 0 minus 2 squared is equal to r squared. Negative 2 squared is 4. Negative 2 squared is 4 is equal to r squared. That means that r squared is equal to 8. Just for reference, our radius is equal to root 8. That means that x minus p, or rather x minus 2 squared plus y minus 2 squared is equal to r squared, which is 8. The next one that I gave you to do had our circle centered around the point negative 1, negative 1, and passing through the point, that's x and y axis by the way, passing through the point x is equal to 3, y is equal to 2. Again, we're going to have to start by saying the formula x minus p squared plus y minus q squared is equal to r squared. That means that in this case x minus minus 1 will be x plus 1 squared plus y minus minus 1, which is y plus 1 squared, is equal to r squared. To get r, we substitute that point in. That will be 3 plus 1 squared plus 2 plus 1 squared is equal to r squared. That means that r squared is equal to 3 plus 1 is 4, squared is 16, 2 plus 1 is 3, squared is 9, 16 plus 9 is equal to 25. That means that our equation now reads x plus 1 squared plus y plus 1 squared is equal to 25. Number 5. I've got my axis over here, x-axis and y-axis, and I've got my circle way down over here with center -3, -2, and the point -4, -1. Going to start off by saying x minus p, but in this case I'm just going to make it x plus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to r squared. To get r squared, I substitute that point in. So it's -4 plus 3 squared plus -1 plus 2 squared is equal to r squared. That means that r squared is equal to -4 plus 3 is -1 squared is 1. -1 plus 2 is equal to 1 squared is 1. 1 plus 1 is 2. That means that the equation reads x plus 3 squared plus y plus 2 squared is equal to 2. Number 6. Number 6 has looks a bit odd. It's not that bad. It's got a circle going through the origin, or rather through point OA, and it says that OA is a diameter. Also, we are given the coordinates of A. We're told that it cuts it at x is equal to 6. It's on the x-axis, which means that y is equal to 0. Now, it does seem like a tough one to draw. It really is not that difficult to draw. Think about it. If OA is a diameter, what goes right in the middle of OA? Isn't the middle of the diameter also the center of the circle? That means that the center of the circle has an x value of 6 plus 0 divided by 2, which is 3, and a y value of 0. That means that our equation will now read x minus 3 squared plus y minus 0 squared is just y squared is equal to r squared. But in this case I don't need to work out r squared. Think about this. There to there is how many units? If that was 6, that will have to be 3. And that's the equation of that circle from inspection.